The converse of P conditional to Q is Q conditional to P. If P, then Q is the conditional, whereas the converse is nothing but if Q, then P. If all the combinations are true, it is tautology. If all the combinations are false, it is contradiction. If we get true and false, then it is called neither tautology nor contradiction. Negation of P is, for T it is F, for T it is F, for F it is T, for F it is T. Hello dear students, welcome to this session of Mathematical and Statistical Computing. I am Mr. Niranjan, Faculty Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. So, in my previous class, we have discussed regarding the construction of truth table for the connectives like conjunction, disjunction, conditional, biconditional and negation. Today in this session, I am going to discuss regarding very important concept, that is converse, inverse and contrapositive. So, the converse, inverse and contrapositive for a conditional statement. If P conditional to Q is a statement given, then what is the converse, what is inverse and what is contrapositive? Now, what is converse, inverse and contrapositive? Let me discuss in detail. First, converse, inverse and contrapositive of a conditional statement. Now, let us consider a conditional statement given a conditional statement P conditional to Q. Then the conditional statement, if we reverse this, the conditional statement Q conditional to P is called the converse of P conditional to Q. That is, Q conditional to P is called the converse of P conditional to Q. You might have been studied in your geometry classes. That is, converse means data become proof and proof become data. The reverse, here also the converse of P conditional to Q is Q conditional to P. If P, then Q is the conditional, whereas the converse is nothing but if Q, then P. What is the inverse of this conditional Q, P conditional to Q? So, the conditional negation P conditional to negation P conditional to negation Q is called the inverse of P conditional to Q. And finally, what is the contrapositive? The conditional negation Q conditional to negation P is called the contrapositive of P conditional to Q. That is, negation of Q conditional to negation P is called the contrapositive. So, what is the conclusion part here? So, for any conditional statement P conditional to Q, P conditional to Q, if Q conditional to P is called the converse, Q conditional to P is called the converse, then negation of P conditional to negation Q is called the inverse. So, this is called as the converse, this is called as the inverse. And finally, negation of Q conditional to negation Q conditional to negation P is called the contrapositive. So, converse, inverse and contrapositive of a given conditional statement. Now, let us discuss with an example. Now, write the converse, inverse and contrapositive of the following statement. One, what is given? If I work hard, then I get the grade. So, here this is P and this is Q. So, this is a conditional statement. What is P given? P, I work hard, right? What is Q given? Here Q. What is Q? Q is nothing but then I get the grade. This is given, right? Now, write on one by one. First one is the converse. What is converse? So, the converse is nothing but Q conditional to P. Q conditional to P. So, first write Q. So, what is Q? If I get the grade, if I get the grade, then I work hard. I work hard. This is the converse of the given statement. Now, second one, inverse. What is inverse? For inverse, negation P conditional to negation Q. That is, negation P conditional to negation Q. So, negation means not. Just if I do not work, if I do not work, if I do not work hard, if I do not work hard, then I will not get, I will not get grade. That's it. So negation of P conditional to negation Q is nothing but if I do not work hard, then I will not get grade, right? And the last one, what is the last one? Is the contrapositive. For contrapositive, negation Q conditional to negation P. So third one is the contrapositive. That is negation Q conditional to negation P. What is the negation? First, right? First Q statement, that is if I do not get, if I do not get the grade, if I do not get the grade, then negation of P is I do not work hard. I do not work hard, or I will not work hard. So if I do not get the grade, then I will not work hard, right? So this is how we are going to write the converse, inverse and the contrapositive for the given statement. If I work hard, then I get the grade. Now move on to the next example. If x is less than 1, then it is a prime number. So this is again a conditional statement. What is given? P conditional to Q. What is P here? X is less than 1, this is P. Then it is a prime number, this is Q, right? So this is Q and this is P. P is X is less than 1 and Q is it is a prime number. Now one by one, right? First one, what is the first one? Converse. What is converse? Q conditional to P. Q conditional to P. Just write first Q. What? If X is a prime number, X is a prime number, X is a prime number, if X is a prime number, then X is less than 1. This is the converse. If X is a prime number, then X is less than 1. The second one, inverse. What is inverse? Negation of P conditional to negation Q, right? What is the inverse? Negation of P conditional to negation Q. So first write down the negation for this. So if X is not less than 1, then it is not a prime number. So if X is not less than, X is not less than 1, then it is, means X is not a prime number. X is not a prime number. So if X is not less than 1, then X is not a prime number. And the last one is the contrapositive. What is contrapositive? Negation of Q conditional to negation P. Negation of Q conditional to negation P. So first write negation Q. What is negation Q? If X is not a prime number, X is not a prime number, then X is not less than 1. X is not less than 1. X is not less than 1. This is the contrapositive. Okay. This is how we are going to write the converse, inverse and contrapositive. So just for converse, Q conditional to P. For inverse, negation of P conditional to negation Q. For contrapositive, negation of Q conditional to negation P. Hope you followed. Now let us move to one more example. If the questions are easy, then students score better marks. Again, this is a conditional statement. So here P conditional to Q. What is P? The questions are easy. This is P. And then what is Q? The students score better marks. This is Q. P is the questions are easy. Students score better marks. Now, first one is the converse. Converse is Q conditional to P. What is Q conditional to P? So I'll write here. Q conditional to P means if students score better marks, then the questions are easy. This is the converse. If students score better marks, then the questions are easy. Second one, inverse. For inverse, negation of P conditional to negation Q. Just put not for this. If the questions are, negation means not easy. If the questions are not easy, negation of P, then students do not score better marks. Students do not score better marks. Now the last one, third one is the contrapositive. What is contrapositive? That is negation of Q conditional to negation P. Reverse this. So that is nothing but negation of Q. If the students not score better marks, the students do not score better marks, then the questions are not easy. That's it. If the students do not score better marks, then the questions are not easy. So this is how we are going to write the converse, inverse and contrapositive for if the questions are easy, then the students score better marks. Hope you followed. Now, let us move on to the next example. If x square is equal to y square, then x is equal to y. Here the equation is given. We have to write the converse, inverse and contrapositive for this. Now, again this is a conditional statement, P conditional to Q. What is P? P is nothing but x square is equal to y square. And what is Q? Q is nothing but x is equal to y. Right? Okay. Now, one by one. First one, converse. Converse is Q conditional to P. Q conditional to P. Now, write first Q. If x is equal to y, then x square is also equal to y square. This is the converse. So, if x is equal to y, then x square is equal to y square. Followed. Now, second one, inverse. What is inverse? Negation of P conditional to negation Q. Okay. Negation of P conditional to negation Q. What is negation of P? If x square is not equal to y square, not means not equal to y square, then x is not equal to y. That's it. If x square is not equal to y square, then x is not equal to y. And the third one, contrapositive. What is contrapositive? Negation of Q conditional to negation P. What is that? Negation of Q. Negation of Q means if x is not equal to y, then what is negation of Q? Negation of P. Negation of Q is if x is not equal to y, then negation of P is x square is not equal to y square. That's it. Hope you followed. This is how we are going to write the contrapositive. Right? Very simple concept. You may expect this type of question for 5 marks or one simple for 2 marks. Right? Now, Move on to the next concept, that is tautology and contradiction. This is very, very important. You may expect one 7 or 8 marks question from this concept, tautology and contradiction. So, verification of a given compound statement by constructing the truth table. Now, what is a tautology? Let us discuss regarding the definition of the tautology. A compound proposition is said to be a tautology if it is true for all possible combinations of the truth values of its component. A compound proposition is said to be tautology if it is true for all the possible combinations of the truth values of its components. That is regarding tautology. If all the truth values in the end are t, then it is called tautology. Now, suppose if we get f, if all the truth values are false, then it is called the contradiction. So, what is the definition for contradiction? A compound proposition is said to be contradiction if it is false. For all possible combination of the truth values of its components is called the contradiction. So, if all the truth values are t, then it is called tautology. If all the truth values are false for all its components, then it is called the contradiction. Suppose if we get true and false, then it is neither tautology nor contradiction. If all the combinations are true, it is tautology. If all the combinations are false, it is contradiction. If we get true and false, then it is called neither tautology nor contradiction. Okay. Now, let us move with an example. Check whether tautology or contradiction. Check whether this given compound proposition is a tautology or a contradiction. Now, let us construct the truth table for P conjunction, negation Q, disjunction, negation P, disjunction Q. P conjunction, negation Q, disjunction, negation P, disjunction Q. Now, construct the truth table. You know how to construct the truth table. First, write down PQ. PQ. Here in the first part, we have negation of Q, negation Q. So, P conjunction negation Q, call it as A. Next, again negation P, negation P, negation P, disjunction Q, this is B, and these two are connected by disjunction again. So, A disjunction B. Okay. See, just splitting is very important. P, Q, then negation of Q. First part P conjunction negation Q, call it as A. Then again negation P, negation P. Second part negation P, disjunction Q, negation P, disjunction Q. And these two A and B are connected by disjunction. That is P conjunction negation Q, disjunction negation P, disjunction Q. Now, write down the truth values. So, the truth values for P and Q, as you know, the truth values of P and Q are, so this is true, true, false, false, right? T, T, F, F. For Q, it is alternative true, false, true, and false. T, T, F, F, T, F, T, F. Now, negation of Q, negation of Q. The negation for Q, for this we are going to write the negation. For T, it is F. For F, it is T. For T, it is F. For F, it is T. F, T, F, T. Now, P conjunction negation Q. These two are connected by conjunction. In conjunction, true and true is true. In all cases, it is false. So, true and false is false. True and true is true. False and false is also false. Again, false and true is false. So, for conjunction, true and true is true. In all cases, it is false. This is first part. Now, move on to the second part. In the second part, negation of P. Negation of P is for T, it is F. For T, it is F. For F, it is T. For F, it is T. F, F, T, T. Now, then negation P, disjunction Q. So, negation P and disjunction Q. These two are connected by disjunction. So, in disjunction, false and false is false. In all cases, it is true. So, here F and T is T. Again, F and F is F. Again, T and T is T. Again, T and F is also T. False and false is false in disjunction. In all cases, it is true. So, T, F, T, T. Now, these two are connected. So, A and B are connected by again disjunction. Disjunction means False and false is false in all cases, it is true. So these two, A and B, these two, A and B are connected by disjunction. So false and true is true, true and false is also true, false and true is also true, false and true is also true, right? So A, false and true is true, true and false is also true, false and true is also true, false and true is also true. See, if you observe carefully, all the truth values in the last column are T, 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 T. So therefore, the given compound proposition is a tautology. Therefore, it is a tautology. That means the given proposition P conjunction negation Q, P conjunction negation Q, disjunction negation P, disjunction Q is a tautology. So we are getting all the truth values as T, 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 T. Therefore, it's a tautology. Hope you followed. So if we get all the truth values in the last column as T, 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 then it is called a tautology. Suppose if we get F, 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 then it is called contradiction. If we get a mixture of true, F, true, false, then neither tautology nor contradiction. Anyway, this is an example for a tautology. So you may expect this type of question for 7 or 8 marks. Hope you followed. Okay. So that's all regarding today's session. Let us meet with a different concept in the next session. Thank you. Thank you very much.